I'm totally not ready to go live, but I said I was going to go live at 3:30. Or 3:30, 4:30. I am so not prepared to go live right now, but I said I was going to go live at 4:30, and I am going live at 4:30. I am here with you right now. Let's check it out. There I am, live. Been live for 16 seconds. Ready to go. I got iced cafe con leche. That's Spanish for coffee with leche. For those of you who didn't know, didn't speak that, welcome aboard and thank you so much for being here. I usually go live at 11:30 a.m. on Tuesdays, but today was a little bit different. I had to give a presentation to the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce. Today I had to get ready for that, had to deliver that, so I was a bit out of my normal schedule today, but I always commit. I'm gonna clear my yes, that was better on mute, I bet. I always commit to going live because I have questions that came in during the week and I want to answer those things for you. So let's get to those questions. I'm going to find those and I'm going to answer those. There were 3 questions that came in during the week. Here they are. So I'll put the question in the chat for you to see and read along. So question number 1. I don't know. Question number 1 is that. So I've just popped that in the chat. For those of you who are following along with the chat, you can see it. So the question we're going to answer right now is, I want to start my own content writing agency. What should I do first? That is a great question. And for those of you who don't know, it's Chris Prouty. And I am coming live to you right now. I come live every Tuesday. And I am the founder of 9 Twice, which is an online school for entrepreneurs that teaches them how to attract clients to their business, how to grow their businesses, how to become authorities in their niche, how to be seen as an authority, how to impact a great number of people, and also help them sell a few things at the same time while they're doing it. And many people, wow, really kind of a throat thing going on. I have a lot of people that come to me, my clients who come to me because they know they have a great service, like this person who came to me with this question about starting their own content writing agency. They know they have a service that's needed and they know that they can provide a great result to their clients, but they don't know where to start. And they don't know what to do, and sometimes they feel like they're being ignored online. And that can be very frustrating, as you can possibly imagine, and maybe it's happening. Maybe it's happening to you, or that sounds familiar to you. And before we get to answering this question, I am running a live workshop this week where I'm going to go for an hour and a half, and I'm going to teach just like I do here, but we're going to be very, very specific and very, very detailed in the things that I teach. And that's going to be this Thursday. The link for that is right there. I think I got it right. Let's check the monitor. I don't know. I hope it is. You'll see. The link is right here. It's proutyclass.com. If you go to proutyclass.com, you can register for that workshop. So I want to start my own content writing agency. What should I do first? Well, there's a lot of things that you should be doing first, and you should kind of be doing them all at the same time. So let's talk about all the things you should be doing first. The first thing I want you to do, if you are looking to start a content writing agency, is, and this may sound obvious, but a lot of people skip this, make sure that you can write content that people want to buy. Because if you can, then you have a really great chance of running a successful business. If you can actually do the thing and people are willing to exchange money with you for it. So if you're joining us a little bit late, welcome aboard. We're answering the question, I want to start my own content writing agency. What should I do first? Very first thing you should do is make sure people will exchange money with you for the content that you write. So that means you're writing content that is really good and that people will pay you for, because it's going to get them some sort of a transformation. Now, the next thing that I want you to do is figure out who you want to write this content for. Ultimately, a good content writer can write for a variety of people, but when you're just starting out, it will be to your advantage to focus on a very specific kind of person that you want to write for. For example, perhaps you're into health and wellness, and you can write really great content about health and wellness. you should be looking for people who need health and wellness content. And one of the best ways to do that is find people who own health and wellness businesses, and you go to their website and you find that they haven't written a blog post in a couple of months or longer or ever. And then you start to develop relationships with them and start to teach them about the importance of keeping blog content fresh and updated on your website, because it helps humans understand what you do better, as well as the search engines better index you so that people can find you. So the very first thing you should do is make sure that the thing that you do, someone will pay you for. Then you must explore who your perfect prospect is, who you want to do that thing for. In this case, it's content creation. And you've got to get in front of them, educate them into the benefits of doing what you do, and you will start to develop relationships with them. Then you turn those relationships into clients. And if you're struggling to get clients, well, that simply means you must do more. You must step forward with educating even more and more and more. Part of that education might be showing them case studies or samples of your work so that they feel confident in what they're getting into when they start to work with you. Okay? So, quick recap of that very first question, which is, I want to start my own content writing agency. What should I do first? Make sure they'll pay you for your content. Find people that you're inspired to work for. Do those two things and you're going to be in really good shape. Now, an agency, if an agency sounds like it might have more than just you working for it. And it's not clear to me with this question whether or not that's the case. So if it is just you, now you are working as a content consultant. You can call yourself an agency, but you're really stepping forward as a content consultant. And that's totally fine. Once you start to get more and more clients, then you're going to want to bring other content writers on. And that's how you start to develop that agency model. So there you go, on your way, and start to get that done. And by the way, if you are starting out and you're interested in figuring out how to get your first or your next client, maybe you've had a little bit of success, but you want to amplify that success, get a repeatable process to do it over and over again, I put this link right here for you. You can click on that link, but it's not going to do anything for you because it simply is going to pause the video. But instead, type that link right into a web browser. And that's going to get you onto into my workshop that I'm delivering this Thursday live. And there won't even be a replay. So let's put that in the chat. Register, I'm a bad live streamer. I should have done this earlier. Register for my free workshop at proutyclass.com. There we go. I just popped that thing into the chat. I actually will pin that up at the top of the chat. Anybody comes in late, they'll be able to see that. So you can go ahead and register for my free class at proutyclass.com. That's this Thursday, just in a couple of days. And there won't be a replay on that thing. Okay, let's get on to the next question. Go over to my notes. The next question is, get ready for this one. This is a good one. Question number 2. Question 2 is this. I work as a freelancer on Fiverr, but have been having difficulties getting clients. What advice would you give? Well, that's a really great question. So for those who don't know, Fiverr is a website that you can go to, and it used to be the case that every service on that website was $5, but that has changed recently. And services now cost a variety of prices. But you used to be able to go and get little things done for you for $5. You could get someone to animate something for you, draw something for you, make a presentation template for you, get it all done for $5. And it was a great place for freelancers to start, but then Fiverr changed the model and now prices kind of are all over the place. Fiverr is kind of like Upwork, which you might have heard of, and you can go get freelancers there. Here's the problem with being a freelancer on Fiverr. It is that you are predominantly competing with others on price. So you're not competing based on results, you're competing based on price. And the phrase that is often used is, it's a race to the bottom. It's how fast can we reduce prices to get the business. And that doesn't work for anybody. that doesn't serve you, because now you're charging so little for what you do, you can't live on that. You can't build a business on that. It doesn't serve your client because they're out of fair exchange, which means they didn't pay enough for the result that they got. Whether they admit it or not, they on the surface, they feel like they got a deal, but beneath the surface, they didn't pay enough. And so they're out of fair exchange and they're going to start to feel imbalanced. And that's not a place that you want anyone to be. So Fiverr is not exactly the best place for someone who's a freelancer and who is trying to start a business or trying to get business. I would instead recommend spending time on, now this person is doing freelancing, but I don't see what they're doing as a freelancer. So it's hard for me to tell. But I'm going to guess that as a freelancer, you're looking for businesses to hire you. And the place you should be hanging out is on LinkedIn. So here's how you go on to LinkedIn to start to get clients. You can, first of all, you can go through my library of content here on YouTube. You'll find a whole bunch of LinkedIn training. But if you'd like to start getting clients on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn and adjust your profile so that every element of your profile talks about what it is you do as a freelancer, whatever that is. Your banner should talk about it. You should create a video cover story that goes inside of your profile picture. Your bio and your summary should all be client-centric, educating the client into what you do as a freelancer. Then, if you've got examples of your freelancing work, put that down in your featured section on your profile. Now, that's a very high-level way to optimize your LinkedIn profile, but it is the very first thing that you should do. And so now you are creating exposure to what you do. You'll be getting in front of the people who are most likely to hire you. And this is the act of becoming more present with your target audience. And speaking of your target audience, the second thing that you should do is you should be seeking out the people on LinkedIn who are most likely to hire you. Now, we said this answering the first question about creating a content writing agency. You should be doing the same. Seek out the people on LinkedIn who are most likely to hire you and connect with them. But please don't make this mistake. Please do not connect with them and within moments of connecting with them start slamming their DM with a sales pitch. Nobody wants that. People hate that, actually. So if you want people to hate you, go ahead and do that. It happened to me this week. A very well-meaning individual slammed me with a sales pitch in a video through my LinkedIn DMs, like straight away, right after we connected. And he had the lack of insight to say, I don't want to pitch you in this video, but, and then he pitched me for 30 seconds. It doesn't work. Nobody wants that. People hate that. People will hate you when you do that. So don't do that. Instead, connect with these people and lead with education. Teach them about what you do. Teach them about why they need what you do. When they come to realize that you're right and you've educated them, then put in front of them examples of what you do and keep educating them. The conversion to a client is going to be a natural extension of that education. So in your featured section, make sure you're putting a lot of content that showcases how you can educate. And then just make those connections with those perfect prospects and establish relationships with them. And people will start to work with you once you've developed the authority, the expertise, and the trustworthiness. You'll never think about Fiverr again. And you'll be able to find an abundance of clients on LinkedIn just by following those simple steps. Café con leche, iced. Okay, so, and by the way, you'd be perfect to come on into my workshop that I'm having this Thursday, right here, this workshop that I'm having this Thursday. And in this workshop, I'm going to be talking about a strategy, 5 steps to getting your first or your next client. It's a completely free workshop. And you get to come to that thing. You get to hang out with me for an hour, hour and a half, get to interact with me, ask me questions. Just go to proutyclass.com. Prouty's my last name, class because it's a workshop I'm going to be teaching. So proutyclass.com will get you registered for that workshop. Just go ahead, type in proutyclass.com, come on board, and I will see you on Thursday. Okay, second question, check. That question was about working as a freelancer on Fiverr and not getting any traction. So you're going to get traction on LinkedIn, but you've got to go and you've got to create that content and educate and show up there consistently. Question number 3 is, let's see, I'll put that in the chat. Okay, question number 3 is, how can I figure out who my perfect client is if I've had no clients? Well, that's an interesting one. How can I figure out who my perfect client is if I've had no clients? I actually love that question because that says to me that you're starting out and you want to start right. So here's what I want you to do. And I don't know what you do as a business. I just know that this was the question that was asked of me this week. How can I find my perfect client, who my perfect client is if I've had no clients? So here's what you do. I want you to take out a blank piece of paper and get a pencil. On that piece of paper, I want you to start to write down large groups of people that inspire you, people that you love to talk to, people that you would love to work with. Figure out who these large groups of people are. Maybe they're pet store owners. Maybe they're makeup artists, or they work in the cosmetics industry. Maybe they work in fashion, or they work in health and human services. Maybe they work in health and wellness, or they work in the legal field. Just start to put these big chunks down of these large groups of people that you would like to service. But they've got to be huge. I don't want you niching down too much at first. It's just got to be large groups of people that all have a similar characteristic. Then I want you to look through that list and I want you to say, if I had to choose one of these, if everything depended on me choosing the right one, which group of people would I be most inspired to serve? Which group of people could I talk to every single day and not get tired of speaking to these people? Which group of people could text me at midnight, text me on Sundays, text me anytime? And I'm going to look at that text and smile and be inspired to be talking with them. And that's the group you target first. That's how you figure out who your perfect client is straight away. Now, I'm going to presume that you're starting a business and you have a service. So much like the first question that was asked, which was starting a content writing agency, you've got to make sure that people in this group are willing to pay you for the service that you offer, that you have a transformation that solves a problem that they have right now, and that they're willing to exchange money with you for that solution. Because if they're not willing to do that, you can have the group of people that you love to work for and work with. But if they're not going to pay you for a service that gives them a transformation that solves an immediate problem, you don't have a business. You have a hobby. And you can't take a hobby and put it in the bank. So we must find the group of people that we're inspired to serve, and then we must test that market to make sure that they're going to pay us for the service that we offer. And the best way to do that is to start talking with the market. But talk to them in an educational way, letting them know about the service that you offer and educating them as to the transformation that it offers and the problem that it solves immediately, and then asking the hard question. And you ask it this way: I'm not trying to sell to you, and this is certainly not a sales pitch in disguise. I simply would like to know that if this transformation were something that were offered to you, would you be willing to pay for it? And then even if they beg you to become a client, say, no, I'm not trying to trick you into becoming a client. I'm just trying to test the market. But we must ask those hard questions. Then the KPI or the key performance indicator is, can you sell 3 people in that market? This is the cool way of doing 3, like this. 3. Can you sell 3 people in that market rapidly? Can you get 3 people to exchange money with you for something rapidly? If you can, then I consider that to be a valid idea or a valid business concept that's going into that market. And once you have that, now it's time to scale. And it's time to present that solution to more and more people inside of that market. So let's go back to the beginning. You have a product or you have a service that you want to sell, but you don't know who your perfect client is. So you're going to write down the large groups of people. People who work in the law, people who work in the legal, people who work in restaurants, things like that. You want to just go into those large groups. Do not fall into the trap of niching down. We know this is a whole nother conversation. I will save this for next Tuesday. We don't have to niche down anymore. People who are telling you to niche down, you don't have to do that anymore. Because we used to have to niche down when online advertising was, I'm getting into it. I want to save it for another time. I'll tell you this. We used to have to niche down when online advertising was so expensive, so competitive, so specific that if we didn't niche down, we were spending thousands of dollars in advertising and not getting any good results. Now it's a totally different world, especially in this post-pandemic world. It's totally different. Social media is now a level playing field for everyone. And if you're stepping forward with education and you're calling out the audience and educating them, you don't have to niche down anymore. Your perfect clients are going to reveal themselves to you. That's why I'm telling you to pick a larger audience as opposed to trying to niche down, which you don't have to do anymore. Your perfect audience is going to reveal itself to you, as it has with me. If I look at my private mastermind and I look at the people who are in my private mastermind, when I first started selling it, these are elite entrepreneurs who meet with me 3 times a week and were rapidly scaling their businesses. When I look at the people who are in there, if I had niched down to a very specific type of person when I first started, I wouldn't have any of these people in there. So you don't have to niche down anymore. But you do have to find a group of people who you are willing to serve and who you are willing to talk to 24 hours a day, no matter what. That's how you find your perfect audience. Then within that group, the people who are most willing to pay you are going to emerge. It's just the way it works. And you've just got to validate that they're willing to pay you for the service that you offer, for the transformation that you offer that solves a problem that they have immediately. And that's how you find your perfect client, even if you've had no clients. And if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, well, yeah, I haven't had any clients. I'd like to at least get a client. That's why I created this workshop. It's going to be live. You register at proutyclass.com. That's my last name, class.com. Go to proutyclass.com and register for the workshop. It's this coming Thursday. It's going to be live. I'm going to be presenting live. I'm going to be answering questions. I'm going to be drinking a cafe con leche while I'm presenting, just like today. And you get to hang out with me. And there's not going to be a replay because my stuff, my strategies work best for people who can make decisions and act quickly. And I know that's you. So if you can make a decision, act quickly, show up, dedicate yourself, boom, you're going to get the results. Okay, so go to proutyclass.com and register for that workshop. It's coming up in less than 48 hours. And I have planned it. It is an incredible class that you're going to be in. I'm looking in the chat just to make sure I haven't missed any questions. We got those 3 questions answered. They came in throughout the week. You are certainly, if you're here catching this on the replay, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Just get them to me during the week. You can find me on just about any messaging platform. Connect with me on any social media, and you can message me there. Like I was just explaining to the person who asked about their perfect client, if you're an entrepreneur, you're an expert, you're a professional service provider, you're who I'm most inspired to talk with. You're who I'm most inspired to help. So you can message me 24 hours a day. Totally would look forward to that. And I'll answer your questions next week. In the meantime, I'm going to wrap up. One more quick pitch for this, proutyclass.com, which is going to get you into that free workshop on Thursday. I would love to see you there. We're going to hang out for an hour, hour and a half. You get to interact directly with me, ask me questions, and you're going to learn strategies you'll be able to implement that day to start attracting more clients to you. And that about wraps it up for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and answering those questions. I'm very grateful that you were here. I'll be back next Tuesday at the regular time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, I think, as long as nothing gets in the way of that. And between now and then, you have a lot of work to do, a lot of week ahead of you to get work done. So you have my permission to go work and go start getting those clients. I'm signing off for now. This is Chris Prouty from ProutyClass.com. You know you want to get in that class, so go do that right now. I will see you on the next one.